My name is Seun Akinlotan. I'm a wife, a mom, an environmental scientist, an entrepreneur, author, coach, and mentor. I am the founder of On Point Success. On Point Success is a creative agency that is based in Philadelphia, and what we do is web design, digital marketing, and branding. I'm also the founder of On Point Small Business Success, which is a platform that I created for women entrepreneurs to succeed in business and prosper in life. All right, my childhood and family. I was born on 16th of September 1981. I was born in Lagos, and shortly after I was born, my parents moved to my dad's hometown of Abeokuta, which is also known as Rock City. So if you hear me talk about that girl from Rock City, that's where that came from. I basically grew up in Rock City. I started my primary education at Ogun International Nursery and Primary School, and then from there I proceeded to Abeokuta Girls Grammar School. And I also attended the University of Agriculture, Alabata, Ogun State, Nigeria. Speaking specifically about family, I am the first child of a family of 4 girls. My mom has 4 girls, and I grew up in a typical family where you have the dad and mom and their children surrounding them on their dining table talking. One of my favorite memories about my childhood is the fact that I grew up in a very secluded area. I remember my sisters and I used to play this game of counting the number of cars that ply the street. Typically in a day you could have a total of 10 cars, and you just stand by the window trying to see who is passing by. So that was one of the things I remember about my childhood. I come from a Christian family as well. I was very connected to my local church back then, and I was very active. I enjoyed most of my childhood, and I have a great family. Wow, some of the difficulties in my childhood. I had a lot of difficulty, like most people do. Let me share maybe 2 or 3 difficulties that I had in my childhood. The first 10 years, I would say, was relatively okay. I enjoyed the luxury of having almost everything that I wanted. And then after the first 10 years, that was when we had this election in Nigeria, and the result of the elections were not announced. The elections were annulled basically, and that's when we had this military takeover. When the military took over power, things became really hard financially, not just for my family, but for many families in Nigeria. I remember one day we were in school, we had military personnel and their trucks. They came over, surrounded our school area, threw tear gas, and everybody scampered for safety. I remember running home and crying, and I didn't realize that that was the beginning of hardness. So first we were hit with what I call petrol scarcity. Can you imagine going to the gas station and there's no gas, and you have to go to work, and sometimes you have to cook. We couldn't even buy gas for our cylinders, so I had to learn how to use firewood to cook. Another difficulty that I would say is that my dad had to relocate his business out of town. His business wasn't doing well at that time, and he and my mom decided that the best thing for him at that time was to move out of town. This was a difficult moment in my life because it was my formative years, and I have a very special relationship with my dad. It really affected me emotionally, psychologically, physically. So that was a difficult moment in my childhood. And then just the general outlook of life, not knowing what would happen in the future, how the future would turn out, it made me a little concerned and, a little unsettled. But thankfully, here we are today. Everything is going on well. How did my childhood shape me into the person I am today? My childhood definitely has a strong influence in who I am today. As you can see, I use that girl from Rock City, so definitely that's from my childhood. I really love my childhood, and one thing I love about how my childhood has affected me, I'll speak for both of my parents. From my dad, I picked what I'll call someone that is open. My dad is very open, he's an open person. I remember my friends would always come to our house because most of them would tell me they've never seen a dad that is so warm and open, playing with everyone. So I got that from my dad. And then when it comes to hard work, I got that from my mom. My mom is the most hardworking person I've ever met. I watched my mom build a mountain out of a molehill. My mom is someone that rises out of nothing, and she's able to build something. So watching my parents share their values with us, live their own lives, and also being a Christian, teaching us the way of the Lord, being a member of Bible clubs and being a very active member in my local church, it has really shaped my outlook about life. And I'm really thankful for every opportunity that God has brought my way, whether it's something that I planned for or something that just happened to come my way. So, talking about when I had to relocate from Nigeria to the United States, it was definitely one of the happiest moments of my life. I have always wanted to study in the United States, but I just didn't know how. I knew that I wanted to get my postgraduate degree. I didn't know how. And then when that opportunity came, it came at a time that I wasn't expecting it at all. And I counted it as a blessing. Relocating from Nigeria to the United States was definitely not easy. We had to go through some uphill battle, but we're here today and it's been a blessing all through. I'm really grateful to God for the opportunity. It didn't disturb any future plans. It kind of like fell in place with what my husband and I had in mind. So it was a beautiful thing, and it's still beautiful. Okay, so you want to know about how I jump-started my career in the United States? It's a long story, but I will try to minimize it, but I still want you to get a sense of how everything happened. It happened that I have a degree, a bachelor's degree in environmental management and toxicology. I actually specialized in toxicology, and I remember when I was an undergrad, everyone that I spoke to, or let me say most people that I spoke to about my career choice, kind of discouraged me. Many people believed that I wasn't going to get a job. So now I relocated from Nigeria to the United States, and it was time to start looking for a job. And most people simply told me that it was impossible. But when I was in my final year in my undergrad, I had worked on a research project, and I had also used information about an environmental agency in the United States. So God brought that memory back to me, and I mentioned it to my husband. I said, can you please help me look up this agency when you go to the library? Because at that time we didn't have internet. Internet was not something that was at everyone's fingertips. So my husband went to the library on this fateful day. He checked out the environmental agency and found out that they were hiring. That was good news. He came back with this printed paper of application. We filled the application together, and within a few months, I believe 2 months after that, I got a call and I got scheduled for an interview. I was excited, to say the least. I went for the interview and I was called to come and get the job, and yeah, that was interesting and surprising at the same time. How does it feel to be 40? It's definitely humbling for me, especially because I have gone through a series of events that made me feel like I might not even turn 40. I remember when I finished high school, I was sick for a while and I was hospitalized, and I didn't think I would make 40. Even when my mom turned 40, 40 felt like something that is eternal, something that would never happen. But here we are today. I'm 40 and I'm really thankful to God for the opportunity and the grace to be able to see a day like this. How do I balance? A lot of people ask me this question. They ask me how I balance my career, entrepreneurship, and family. I've answered this question many times, and the way I've answered it is I don't have a balanced life. I try as much as possible to focus on one task at a time, and I also have a very supportive husband and kids. I have supportive kids that support me in everything I do, and they give me that time to be able to be myself. They give me time to maximize my potential and live my best life. So talking about lessons that I've learned in the last 40 years, of course I've learned a lot of lessons, but I would like to share 3 with you today. I've learned to be loyal to my inner circle, because when all chips are down, those people are the ones that will be there for you. So loyalty is one value that I hold key, and I think that when you are loyal, you get the best of everything that you truly desire. Another lesson that I've also learned is the power of hard work. If you truly work hard, there is nothing that you cannot achieve. I've shared the story of my mom many times, how my mom would rise from nothing and build something. So that lesson always stayed with me. I am a firm believer in hard work. I believe that when you work hard, you definitely reap the rewards of your labor. Of course, you want to work hard in the right direction, because you can actually work hard and be working hard in the wrong direction, but you want to work hard in the right direction. I believe when you work hard, you definitely reap the results. And the third one would be your authentic self. Life is too short to be a version that is not original. So be your authentic self anywhere you find yourself, and keep being good. Any special project in the work that I would like to tell you about? Well, I'm still going to keep things to myself, but definitely working on a project with a friend, and we've been working on this project for a few months now, but when the time is right, I'll definitely make an announcement on what it is and what you should be looking out for. Where do I see myself in the next 5 years? That's an interesting question. I believe that in the next 5 years, I would have made tremendous progress in my career as an environmental scientist. I really enjoy being a waste management professional, and I am exploring different options. But in the next 5 years, I believe that I would be one of the top players in the environmental industry, especially as it pertains to waste management. In terms of my entrepreneurial side, I would definitely continue in the line of my mentoring of women entrepreneurs, and just coming up with different programs. I've also been involved in the Power Woman Experience, which is an annual event that I host for women. So definitely I see a bigger stage and a bigger platform in the next 5 years. All right, thank you so much for coming along this journey with me. It's my absolute pleasure to let you into my life a little bit. I will definitely say that life is short, and you should definitely maximize your potential and live your best life. Try your best to always give your all to whatever you're doing, whether it's your career, your marriage, your children, your business, whatever you're passionate about, give your all, and definitely you'll be fine.